It's not a silly little moan. It's not the stone they fall to calm. This is the deep and dying breath. This love that we've been working on. Can't seem to hold you like I want, so I can feel you in my arms. Nobody's gonna come and save you. We built too many false alarms. We're going down, and you can see it too. We're going down, and you know that we're tuned. Right here, we're slow dancing.
Alright, that was Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer. I was playing with a backing track, which is why you could hear the drums, the bass, and all that other instruments besides my guitar playing. This is Talking with the Strain, episode 18 probably. If you don't know what this is basically where I, sit here, talk to you guys about what's going on my YouTube channel, going on in my life, basically anything I can think about. And since August I've been playing my guitar, so I can kind of document my progress. And I'm not gonna lie, like the last 2 to 3 months, probably even 4 months, I've made a lot of, I don't know about 4, probably 2 to 3 months, or even 1 to 2 months. I've made a lot of great strides in my guitar playing. Like, the last time, wait, when was the last time? Oh, literally like two on episode 16, just literally 2 months ago, I wasn't able to solo on my guitar, but now I can. Now I can, it's not the greatest solo of all time, but I can make melodies. I can make, solos that actually sound all right. Not the best, it's not John Mayer or Derek Trucks or that type, but I can make coherent solos, which is, I don't know how it happened. Like, literally, I was just trying to solo one day, and I was like, okay, let's go try Tennessee Whiskey. So I searched up the backing track, and I felt myself being able to make coherent melodies out of the pentatonic scale, and that's when it started. And now I'm like trying to branch out. I'm trying to branch out because my first one was, the basic pentatonic scale. I think it's called first position, but there's not a single established. Do you hear a bird outside? Because that bird is kind of annoying me. But anyways, I know I knew one pentatonic scale, then I found out how to find that pentatonic scale across the fretboard. I know how to do that now, and then I found out how to find another shape across the fretboard, the one where you find it on the A string. So I know how to find two shapes now. And now my current issue with the pentatonic scale is trying to piece it together, because I think there's a few across the fretboard, but once you get to the 12th fret, it just all restarts, which is like really nice, because all you really need to do is know all the pentatonic shapes from 0 to 12, and then basically that's the whole fretboard you got there. And for the E major or C sharp minor pentatonic scale, I've almost got that whole thing mapped out. Like, I just need to find out the one that starts from 0, and I basically got the whole thing mapped out. I know the one where it starts at 4, I know the one where it starts at 7, and the basic one that starts at 9. I just need to know the one that starts at the very beginning. Then I got the whole E major pentatonic or C sharp minor pentatonic mapped out, which is, really nice, because that's literally one of the most used keys that John Mayer uses. So I'm trying to get that all mapped out. But of course, it's not just about the shapes too. It's about knowing the notes and being able to find out what sounds nice, so that you can actually play nice sounding solos, as opposed to just ones where you use the shapes. Because if you use the shapes, it sounds boring, because that's what I've been doing. I've just been using the shape, and it sounds extremely boring. Meanwhile, literally do like John Mayer. Yeah, I'm comparing myself a lot to John Mayer. I really shouldn't because that guy's taking years out of his life, just studying this shit. And yeah, all right. I had to cut it there because I rambled way too long about guitar stuff, and I wasn't even saying anything that I wasn't even saying anything of importance. I was just literally rambling. But basically, just to summarize it, as opposed to fucking rambling. Well, basically what I was saying is, I think in terms of where I'm at in my guitar journey, I think I'm in good shape, but I still have a lot to improve on. Like, for example, my solos are extremely boring. I need to find a way to make it more melodic. And I think I already said this before. I think maybe. Yeah, I think I already said this, but yeah, and then also, piecing together the pentatonic scales and actually, knowing the notes that are in those scales so that I can make good sounding good sounding solos as opposed to very basic ones where I end on the same exact note. Right now for the E major scale, I've been ending it on the E, which I really need to stop because it gets after it sounds nice for a few times, but after a while it just gets very repetitive and you can literally almost predict where I'm gonna end it. And if your solos are becoming predictable, then that's how you know that you need to change it up. And yeah, that's it. Right? I'm not gonna ramble longer for another fucking 10 minutes like what I did. We're gonna go move on, alright? Alright, let's go talk about my YouTube channel. Because that's the very first thing I usually talk about in these things. In the last, well, I don't know about month, but from the previous Talking What Is This Rain episode to today to now, I released, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I released 6 videos, 2 which I just posted literally yesterday, well, a couple of days ago. And if you notice, there's like a massive focus on The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and that's because I've been trying to get into VR again. And because I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead TV, a lot of those shows, and I've been very motivated to act out my Walking Dead dreams in VR. And that's a really nice game, man. It just feels so much like a mobile game. That's what sucks about it, because the Quest 2 is basically just a glorified, mobile gaming device. Like the games on that thing is equivalent to the games you can download on the Play Store, which is why, PC VR is a hell of a lot better than the Quests. Because, if graphics and depth of gameplay isn't really, a big deal for you, then for sure get it. Because, it has a lot of good titles. It has Beat Saber, which is really nice, but then gets kind of boring after a while, in my own opinion. It has Super Hot. It has, The Walking Dead, and a bunch of other stuff like The Climb 2, and all those other stuff. That's really nice, like those are great games to play on VR, but after a while it just gets boring, and you kind of you kind of crave for a VR experience that's more fulfilling, and that's more than, the mobile gamey type that the Quest provides. But the closest thing to a non-mobile game type game that I've played on the Quest 2 is actually The Walking Dead, which is why I've been playing it a lot. Because, there's actually a story to it, and there's actually a sense of where you are and where you need to be and what you need to be doing, as opposed to games like, The Climb, where you're just doing it because VR is cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the portable Quest VR stuff. But I have a mediocre PC, so I can't really run any good VR games unless I upgrade it, which is probably the cost of another PC. Jeez. Yeah, and I went back to Phasmophobia, and then I went to Chivalry 2, which is another great game that I haven't been playing enough lately. It's because everybody there is so good already. Yeah, Chivalry 2 is a good game, but I wish there was something more to it. It's literally just a massive team deathmatch slash free for all. That's basically it. All right, and then I'm gonna, yeah, that's it. That's really it. One Hitman video, which was nice. It was fun to make, and then that's it. That's all for YouTube. Very, very uneventful. And then, yeah, then we're gonna move on to my next topic, which is, real life. Yeah, real life. And we're gonna talk about my accounting course and my current undergrad course. So at the time I'm recording this, I've finished basically all of my schooling for my undergrad. Granted that my cross-institutional study doesn't fuck me over. If it doesn't, then I'm good to graduate in a month or two. But if not, well, then shit. But last night I literally stayed up like so late last night because I was researching. I was making sure that I'm actually making a good choice here, like a choice that I'm not gonna regret. And as I previously said in these videos, I applied for an accounting course, for a Master's of Professional Accounting course. It's basically an equivalent of an undergrad accounting course, except it's more expensive and it's less time consuming. It's like a trade-off. Would you use money, use more money just to complete the thing quicker? And what I'm doing is I just want to get this whole thing done, man. I'm sick and tired of university life. I think I can handle the debts. I don't want to. I'm not great with money, but I wouldn't say I'm terrible at it. I think I can probably get the whole thing. I haven't done the maths, but I've done a rough maths. A rough maths. I think I can probably get the whole thing paid off in. No, I'm not gonna say, because it's gonna sound stupid to everybody else who's actually in debt and working, and they're like, "Oh man, I've been working for 15 years and I haven't paid off my debt." And yeah, but I got a little bit calculations down. I think I know how to do it. Like I know what to be doing after I graduate. This means that I'm not gonna be able to splurge on a bunch of expensive shit. Probably after 10 years of graduating. So until I'm like 33, I'm not going to be splurging. And I don't think yeah, I just got to be, it's basically normal shit. Like, just don't be financially irresponsible. Make sure you have a good backup plan in your bank account just in case something happens. And try to hold down a job, which for some reason, for me, seems to be very difficult compared. If you remember last year where I talked about quitting my job, jeez. I also need to be getting experience in accounting too, and that's the scariest part for me because I'm gonna be starting soon, and I don't know how to start. I need to do more research on that. I need to know how to start getting some accounting experience so that when my 2 years is done, or more than 2 years, hopefully, because I'm going to be doing a full-time load. Not going to be splitting it into three, maybe. I'm going to be doing the whole 4 units a semester. But fuck, what was I talking about? Talking about full year. Oh yeah, yeah. If I can, because I'm looking at getting into the CPA or CA program, Chartered Accountant or Certified Practicing Accountant program, and those are extremely hard. Like, so you basically how you get it is you do the eligible, you need to be eligible for it, meaning you have to undertake an an accounting course to set up the foundational understandings of how to take the CPA and CA tests, and then once you graduate, you're basically eligible to undertake that, and apparently that takes like 2 to 3 years, another 2 to 3 years. But you can do it probably out of pocket, or you can get a job with an accounting place, and they'll sponsor it for you. That's what I'm trying to do because I don't want to waste any more money. This is my last this is my last degree in probably a long time. Maybe in a couple of, maybe when I'm like, I don't know, maybe in a couple of years I'll go do another degree when I want to change from accounting. But right now, this is the very last degree that I want to do because that I don't want to get into any more debt. But once I graduate, I'm looking to getting into an accounting place that offers CPA or CA stuff so that I can become a practicing accountant, and that's where the big bucks come in. That's where you become an actual accountant, and where big four firms actually start looking at you. So that's what I'm looking for. Oh, look at these bunch of people trying to rob me. Hold on, this is something hilarious here. All right, see, look, I'm gonna fight these dudes, and oh, they're trying to steal this woman's car, and I see this guy. Look at his hat. He has a Confederate hat, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking punch this dude. Fuck this dude. Damn. Are y'all mad at that? Because if you're mad at that, if you're mad at me for punching somebody with a Confederate bandana, then you might as well dislike and unsubscribe, because fuck you, right? All right. What was I? Yeah, all right. So accounting. Yeah, basically get myself sorted out, get my my shit, get some experience going on. I'm looking at starting at bookkeeping and then working my way up as I get more experience at bookkeeping, going up to junior accounting, which is, where I live. Whoops, where I live, there's no there's no junior accounting, so I'm gonna have to move into the big city for that or somewhere else. But I need to get to junior accounting, and basically where that like junior accounting, that's where you're basically get your CPA and CA stuff. So if I can get to that before I graduate, that I'd be in good shape. Yeah, this is gonna be a hard 2 years, probably even more. Yeah, this is gonna be really fucking hard, man. But there's nothing in this. I'm gonna be going balls to the walls with this shit. Like this is my. This is yeah this is where I'm gonna be going balls to the walls. I still want to be a helicopter pilot or something like that, a pilot of some kind. But that's not really on the agenda right now because one, aviation school costs a lot. Two, the military, I'm not exactly fit for the military yet. And if I were to just go full on to the military, it's not going to be very well because right now the odds are stacked against me. So I might as well get something like a backup plan just in case that falls through because we already know that's probably going to fall through. Like literally a pilot. That's one of the most demanding and competitive jobs in the military besides special forces. So to just go full on military pilot without a backup plan, that's just not good on my part. So I gotta make sure I do something else on the side, and that's accounting. Yeah, I'm just hoping that I can stick through with it, because yeah, I haven't had a degree where I actually needed it. With my criminology degree, I thought I needed it, and I stuck with it for 3.5 fucking years like a stupid person, and I'm regretting ever doing it because you don't even need the fucking thing. I don't know why the fuck 17-year-old me thought a bachelor in criminology would be a great idea because that was the stupidest. That now I've done a lot of stupid things ever since I was a kid, but getting a bachelor's degree in criminology might be the stupidest thing I have ever done in my entire life. The stupidest thing. I wasted 3.5 years of my life, and now I gotta go do something just to make sure that all these years doesn't just come to a waste. It doesn't just all end with me doing jobs that I could have just gotten had I started working after high school, which is why I need this accounting thing to pull through, and which is why I need to succeed in this thing because this is This is basically the last. I don't want to say last stop. There's no last stop in anything, but this is. I feel pressured to do the most sensible thing right here, and that is fully dedicating my time in accounting and actually doing my due diligence to make sure that I can succeed right after university. So yeah, I'm probably gonna. There's gonna be some massive changes, man, and I don't know. I think I think YouTube and gaming might have to take a backseat a little bit because I'm noticing like I like gaming, I like playing video games, but I'm noticing that it takes up too much of my time. I feel like if I had just gotten rid of my video games, I'd be a lot more successful. So that's going to be a very tough pill to swallow for me. But I don't know how I'm going to do it because I still like playing video games. I don't want to give it up, but probably just going to have to decrease my exposure to it. Stop making it my priority, or at least stop making it as high in my priority list as it is right now. So yeah, jeez, what a deep talk with Nico. God damn. So yeah, I'm trying to get this shit done. Trying to be actually successful. Trying to be actually financially independent and actually start paying off my debts and actually having a job because yeah, I hate feeling useless, man. I hate feeling like I'm doing nothing, like I'm not getting anything done. Literally, I finished my final exam a week or two ago, and ever since I've felt so useless. Like I didn't have anything to do. I was just been sitting here, which is why I made so much so much YouTube videos because I don't want to feel like I was doing nothing. And with current, yeah, this is gonna be so fucking hard, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get accounting experience. I don't know how people do it. Like even like internships. It's so competitive. That shit. Like to get an internship, you need basically the same qualifications as somebody who's applying to be an expert bookkeeper, for example. Like it's you know what? It's nothing that I can't achieve. It's nothing I can't achieve. So I'm going balls to the walls with that one. And hopefully the future Nico listens to this and understands the is it brevity? Is brevity the right word or is it gravity? Let me look this up. Brevity. Uh yeah, it's not brevity. I hope future Nico listens to this and understands the gravity of I don't even know if I'm using the right word, but the gravity, the importance of actually succeeding in accounting. Right, Nico? This is why I make these videos, just so I can look back into the past and see the stuff that I need to do, stuff that I did, stuff that I've done. Those are two same things, but stuff I want to do. So here's to hoping. All right, let's go move on. That's my accounting stuff. Let's go talk about. I already talked about guitar stuff. Let's go talk about. Uh, okay, let's go blast through this real quick. So, because I usually talk about video games and TV shows that I've been watching in these. So, in the last month, probably two, I've been watching a lot of Walking Dead. I stopped watching it season 8. Yeah, I stopped watching after season 8. I took like a 2 to 3 month hiatus from the show, and I went back, started watching season 9, and that season 9 and 10 are really, really freaking good seasons. They're really good. So yeah, I finished the original Walking Dead show. Excuse me. And I hope that Rick and Michonne come back for the final season because Fucking shit, man. If they do not return in season 11, if Rick doesn't return in season 11, then what the fuck? That's the most scuffed ending for a great TV show of all time. Because season 11 is the final season. If Rick doesn't return in season 11, oh, I don't fucking know, man. That's just gonna be the dumbest shit. And then Fear the Walking Dead, I'm up to season 4. And season 2 and season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead, in my opinion, probably the best seasons in any The Walking Dead show ever. I think the only ones that compete with it is season 1 and season 2 of the original show. But I think season 2 and season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead is the best out of any show. Like any Walking Dead show. So I didn't expect it to be that good. Like I knew it was. People were saying that the early seasons were good, but I didn't expect it to be that good. And now I'm up to season 4, and we all know how it went after season 3. We all know. Even though Morgan came back, I still like Morgan, but she's at season 4. She's really tough to watch. I was binging season 2 and season 3, like literally binging it. And now I'm up to season 4, and I basically have to force myself to watch it because I'm already this far, I might as well. And then for video games, I've been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. I got it on PC lately, and I've been having fun with the sound pad on that because I just found out there's a recording feature for SoundPad, the app on Steam, where you can record people's voices. So when people are like talking shit about me, like this dude was like getting all pissed off at me one time because I opened this window and I wasn't watching it, and then he got shot from that window that I just opened. He was like, Twitch, because that was my operator. Twitch, if you're gonna open a window, you need to watch it. And then I was like on text, I was like, hey, can you say that? Wait, what'd you say? Can you say that again? And then he repeated himself, and I was recording him, and I was just spamming his voice back to him. It was hilarious. I think he muted me. And then I'm playing a little bit of Minecraft. I haven't been able to get into it too much. Chivalry 2, The Walking Dead VR, and recently Grand Theft Auto 5. Been replaying the story mode. Just got it on Epic Games. And so I think that's it. I haven't really been playing a lot of games religiously except for GTA 5 and Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. Alright. And man, compared to the last Talking Wizards right now I created, like the one that I didn't post, the reason why I'm re-recording this, I'm breezing through this week really quickly. Like I was literally up to 50 minutes when I was talking about The Walking Dead and my gaming stuff. And right now we're only up to like 30 minutes, 28 minutes. So I'm real surprised here. Alright, now this is gonna take a turn. Yeah, this is gonna take a turn. We're gonna do a retrospective of 2020 because at around this time last year, there was a lot of socio-political goings on that changed me quite a bit. So just for context for future Nico, if you remember in 2020 around May and June there was this massive movement that went on called the Black Lives Matter movement that sparked all these protests, not only in the United States but around the world. It kind of sucks that I wasn't able to attend it on over here, but you know what? It's responsible because it's during COVID times. You don't really want to be with a lot of people during COVID. But there was a lot of stuff, that happened, and it changed, the way I see basically how I see everything. Like, so I have a criminology degree, right? And we've kind of touched on this whole thing about overrepresentation and all that stuff. And yeah, this is one of the most frustrating things too. Like, literally, oh, literally watching the whole thing fold out unfold last year was so frustrating because since I was like in my first year of criminology, we've been we touched on the concept of overrepresentation of criminal justice. Like we basically studied the whole statistics thing, right? And why it's a thing, and what and things to fix it. And I don't know, maybe I was very naive at the time, but I noticed that it was such a contentious idea that people who were in in prison and in the criminal justice system needed to basically get out and be a recidivist. And then we started going into the just desserts era. What the just desserts era is basically what the just desserts era is the again the basically the concept of nothing works and we have to return back to basics. And right now the basics is eh. Hold on, I think I'm defining this wrong because that's not what just desserts era is. The just desserts era is, well, it's kind of like that because in the traditional sense of the criminal justice system, when you get punished, you get what you deserve because you committed that crime. And that's what the just desserts era is in this context because that's the traditional model of the criminal justice system. Jeez, I mean, I'm rambling a lot here. But going back to the Black Lives Matter movement, they started talking about defund the police, right? You guys remember that? Defund the police. And I guess it's just the wording of it that didn't sound right for some people, right? Because when they see defund the police, what they think is, oh, go to the police station, take all their money, period, full stop. That's it, right? Like that's what people thought it was, and it's if you're into the functions of police, that sounds very alarming, right? Like people saying, "Oh, the police doesn't need any more funding. We should just stop funding them." It sounds very alarming, but I don't know if I talked about this last year, but we're gonna get into that whole thing, the whole defunding the police, because it's not as black and white as everybody thinks. It's not just take, give police money and crime rate goes down. Like of course police need funding. They're an essential portion of society. Ever since people settled down, started growing crops, it was always essential that there were regulatory bodies that policed who policed the functions of the people who were eating the crops that were growing next to them. Why am I going through going so far back? But the defund the police slogan is not just that. Like it's something bigger. Like if all right, let's go look at our textbooks. That's figurative speech, by the way. I'm not actually looking at a textbook. But if you go Google community policing, the whole defund the police thing is centered around exactly this: community policing. What is community policing? Community policing is basically the the practice of police that adopts a more community stance, like where it takes on the needs of the community as opposed to the needs of the law enforcement elements within the area. Therefore, community policing. And, that's been in place ever since, let's see, let's go Google this. Ever since the 20th century. When was this? Oh, even way back. Jeez. Early 20th century. That's been out there. And that's basically the very, very core of police work, right? Is to make sure that the police keep the public safe. Right? That's the core of policing, right? Would you agree that very, very cornerstone of police as an institution is to protect the people living in the community they live in, right? That's what it is. What people get wrong about about defunding the police, however, is that they think that it's a derogatory term, for lack of a better word, against police, and that's not what it is. Because if you look at programs like the Midnight Basketball program and basically all these other diversion programs, you see that state just a simple state, state sanctioned community program decreases crime rates by a lot. But if you look at, for example, here in Australia, a lot of cases involving indigenous youth are being dismissed in courts, and a great majority of indigenous youth are being kept out of diversionary programs. And that's a problem of policing, because that's a problem of police discretion. Because if a lot of cases are being dismissed in courts, that means that that's a lot of cases that should not have been in court in the first place. That's a lot of things that the police should have been able to handle by themselves, and yet it's being escalated to the point where it's going to the court. I think my voice is cracked there. And so, when people say defund the police, they don't mean, make the police poor, make sure that they don't have any money to function. What they mean is to take the money out of, militarized policing, take the money out of policing that makes the practice extremely unproductive, and put it into community programs. Because literally, just look up any single community policing program. Look up any community program within high crime rate areas, and you will see that there's a significant drop in crime rates if community policing practices are enacted. There's probably a few, where it's poorly administered, where the police and the state doesn't actually properly administer it properly. But generally, a well-administered community policing program and a bunch of diversionary programs where the police doesn't escalate minor matters into court, where the police doesn't act as basically act as a dictator among the streets, where the police acts more like a facilitator between the state, the criminal justice system, and the law, where the police facilitates the law between the citizen, where the police acts more as a middleman as opposed to a dictator. There's a significant decrease in crime rates. And the reason with enemy, for example, enemies, the lack of I just googled this literally a couple weeks ago, and now I forgot the meaning of it. The lack of social or ethical standards in an individual group. That's what enemy is. And enemy creates crime. It creates deviance. The lack of social ethical standards. And the state, the law, establishes the social and ethical standards. But if the police, the very sign of the law, literally the only thing that sometimes most people in their entire lives, the only thing that represents the law in people's lives, the police, if they do not act the way that the community they represent wants them to act, if they don't act in the interests of the community, then it turns into an anomic state where social ethical standards, right? Stuff that, like laws basically, if the very, very cornerstone of the state, which is the police, does not act in the interests of the community, then it turns into an anomic state, because the people do not trust the people who are representing them, and so it turns into an anemic state. I don't know how to fucking enemy, something like that. So That's just a little tidbit I wanted to talk about here about the whole defunding the police here, because community policing is extremely. I cannot express the importance of community policing. Literally every single essay I write has shown that community policing is extremely freaking important, and that this whole thing about police needing guns uh, and what's it called, and affirmative action not working. Wait, what the fuck am I talking about? Oh yeah, this whole thing about police needing guns and affirmative action not working. It's all just a bunch of, oh my god. You have no idea how fucking annoying it is seeing people who did a YouTube fucking deep dive on the state of criminology and policing talk about how police need more guns, and how police should be able to arrest anybody, how police should, you know, take on a more dictatorial role. It's so fucking frustrating. Like seeing people who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, who do their research on YouTube. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you? People say you don't take you don't do research on Wikipedia, and yet these people do research on YouTube, and it's so fucking stupid because YouTube is just as, if not more, unreliable than Wikipedia, and yet they take everything they see on YouTube. They look at people who they like, they look at people who they follow who have good personalities, and then they take whatever they say, their stances on things, as straight up fact. And it's so fucking frustrating when the studies are there, peer-reviewed studies, everything show that community policing is extremely important. That defunding the police, and in this case, in the sense that defunding them and reinvesting into the community is extremely productive and decreases crime rates. And yet these people are saying to, just basically being a contrarian just because they don't agree that, just because, a subgroup of people are saying this thing, and therefore you need to say that this is the case. It's so frustrating. Like this reactive thing, this reactive politics about this whole thing. That's so fucking annoying. And I hope that we move on from that, and hopefully that all the racists actually, I don't know. There's not a lot of things I hate in people. I hate murderers. I hate people who abuse children. But I think another type of people I hate are probably racists, man. Like it just pisses me off how that is so tolerated nowadays. Like I just hate how it's so tolerated because I've had my fair share of that shit, and it's, I don't know. I don't know how anybody can rationally think that what they're going through is the same as what other people are going through, and therefore I don't know. I just feel like people need more empathy in things. I feel like people just need more empathy. Like literally, yeah. It just pisses me the fuck off thinking about them, to be honest. Jeez. I this is not related to racism actually, but I actually remember back in when we first moved to Australia. I remember going to the school, and it was such a foreign environment to me. Like I didn't expect, like I was missing like my cousins because I had a lot of cousins back at home, back in my home country, and they were basically my friends, and I got a bunch of friends there. I had a good base in school, but my parents moved to Australia, and I was in this very new environment, really uniform, like extremely uniform. Not uniform as in like everybody's wearing, I mean uniform in the way that there's a set way to do things, and like everything's actually really well organized, which is what I really like about Australia, by the way. It's like super organized as opposed to other countries. Like I think I already talked to you guys about this. Like I don't know if I did, but when I moved back to my home country, like it was fucking sicko mode, man. Like people were fucking running red lights. People were it was just so fucking messed up. Like the fucking urban planning was shit during rush hours. You're basically stuck in traffic. I guess sometimes in Australia it's kind of like that too. And then when like you can basically just go buy a. It was just so chaotic. And then I moved to Australia. At the airport, right? At the airport in my home country, it was a bunch of cars. This was in a main city. A bunch of cars, people dropping off their families, they're hugging them and shit. And then we flew back to Australia, and this is a main airport in a big city, and there was barely anyone there. This is actually the airport where I live in, like the main international airport where I live in. It was just so quiet, dude, but it was so calm and peaceful after weeks of living in constant noise and light and basic pollution, and then going into Australia where there's probably a little bit of pollution here too, but basically like it's where it's more quiet. It's such a stark contrast. But anyways, as I was talking about, I actually remember back in when we first moved here, when I would go to school, everything was so different. And every morning when my mom would drop me off, I would just, because I got to school early, I would just sit there and, man, this is making me sad, man. I would just sit there and cry just in that, and like a bench just because I missed like my family back home and my parents. Like, I would just cry every morning. And then I think some teachers noticed that. No, I gotta thank teachers for that shit. I think some teachers noticed me crying every morning, and they said it to somebody. Like, they said it to somebody, and then I was like transferred to a like there was like I don't know what they're called, but they're like a teacher, and she would take me out of class at like around 2 p.m. or around 1 p.m. or something like that. She would take me out of class, and we just basically, play Go Fish. I didn't know what Go Fish was, so she introduced me to that. I'd play Go Fish. We'd do a bunch of stuff. I actually have some pictures here where, it was where she would basically just teach me about life in Australia and life speaking English, and I think that really helped me a lot. Like, helped me a lot. And to think that, to some people, like I had such a hard time, I had such a hard time assimilating to Australia, and then to, which is why this whole racism thing strikes a nerve to me, because you're already in a new place and then you're giving a harder time for not looking like everybody. Like it was so overwhelming for me at the start, and I think it was also overwhelming for my parents too, but I didn't know about it. And yeah, it just frustrates me how yeah yeah, fuck it. Just fuck it, man. I don't think I'm gonna. I think I've tolerated some racism in the past, and it pisses me to fuck off. Like, people literally, back in high school, people literally doing the Nazi salute in a picture with them in school uniform, and I was in the same picture as them, just laughing. It it pisses me to fuck off how I just tolerated that shit. And it makes me cringe now. It makes me cringe because it's just a bunch of stupid shit that literally doesn't even matter. Like, race matters for sure, but it's so fucking stupid how these people just, yeah, have this artificial belief of superiority based on on the basis of, their looks, which is fucking stupid itself, right? I'm sure that, if you didn't know who the fuck I was, if you didn't know, if you just listened to me talk about literally anything, you wouldn't even know that I'm a brown-skinned person who's an immigrant to a Western country. It's so fucking stupid how it's, yeah, fuck racists, man. Literally, fuck them. And if you're listening to this shit and you're fuming at the ears right now, I dare you, double dare you to dislike this video, send it to your friends, and then comment down below about why I am wrong. Alright? Tell me why I'm wrong. Alright. I think that's gonna be the Is This Rain? Do I have anything else to talk about? Nope, that's it. Hoping I succeed in accounting. I'm hoping. I'm gonna be, yeah. Somehow I'm gonna find a way, right? I'm gonna find a way to succeed in accounting. I'm gonna find a way. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna find something. Because I cannot let this fail. Can't let this flop. I gotta be good at something, right? Nobody goes. I don't want to be somebody who's not good at anything. I gotta be good at something. That's literally one of my most. That's literally one of my fears in life. Is not being successful, not being good at something. So yeah, I gotta be good. I gotta be good at something. And accounting, that's it for me, right? I gotta get good at that. I gotta get experience. I gotta get my grades. I gotta graduate, and I gotta get a job. I gotta get my CPA or CA, whichever one I choose. I gotta get a junior accounting role. I gotta get an internship, and I gotta succeed. That's what I gotta do. All right. If you're still listening, thank you so much. I don't know why you're listening to this. Literally, yeah. You know what? Thank you. Thank you. I will be posting more video game videos probably. I have a couple in mind, but nothing yet set in stone, right? But I'll try, right? Okay. If you like this video, please give a like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more. And yeah, that's it. Alright, hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, and uh, yeah, fuck racists, and go fuck yourself if you're one, and hope you have a great day if you're not one. Alright, hope you have a great day. Except for racists. Fuck you.